Hello, Meghan. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us on Game On YouTube channel, for taking the time, because we know you're very busy because you work and you train. Perhaps you would like to share a little bit about yourself with us after I first tell our viewers that you are a fourth dan in karate, you're a karateka, and that you represent our country at a Protea level. Would you like to share with us how, when, and why did you start karate?
Yeah, so my big brother is 5 years older than me. He started karate at a young age. He actually did judo first. When he started karate and I was old enough to actually go with and whatever, I was sitting there watching while all the other kids would play outside. So I would literally sit there eyes glued to the training. And then my coach initially, he was training with another dojo. And my current coach actually approached my dad and said, when she starts, she must start with us. So eventually we moved over to Karate School of Champions, which I'm still part of. And then I started my karate when I was at school. So I started school obviously at 7 years old. So then I started karate finally. So the first time I did a competition, I won. And then consecutively, when I started doing nationals and that type of thing, I regularly won my division, especially in the kumite, which is the fighting division. But since a young age, we were taught to do both. So I've always done kata and kumite. So I've got a few competitions where I was vice champion, where I was champion in both divisions.
You've also shared with us that karate has different styles. So which do you follow, and why do you choose that style? Is there a reason?
Yeah, so I do Shotokan karate, specifically under JKS, which is Japan Karate Shotoenmei. We belong to the Japanese JKS style. So they have a style head, and obviously the rest of the world fall into their structure, if I can call it that. There are many styles. I have had exposure to some of them, but not necessarily always physically, So you've seen it at the World Championships, for example. You see the Goju and that type of thing, and many of my teammates are also at different styles. But I've never had that, I want to say, that urge to go and do another style, because Shotokan is what I know and what I love. Maybe when I'm older, I'll dive into some of the other styles once I've stopped competing. But at this stage, the competition is keeping me busy. I don't have the extra time to focus on other styles. But we compete under WKF, which is the World Karate Federation. And at this stage, it's the only way you can get your Protea colors is if you go through SASCOC, obviously, and then compete at WKF level, which is an all-star competition.
How do you manage to work and to train?
Luckily, my type of profession has its advantages and disadvantages. So I'm a sports scientist. I qualified by doing my honors degree in sports science. I think I finished in 2013. So I have quite a bit of time in between my sessions that I take. So either at the gym where I work, which is functional fitness, we do one-on-one personal training, where we take either sports people or the regular person to achieve their goals. So the other place that I work at currently is in Johannesburg. It's Football Academy Plus. So I'm working with the footballers to get their fitness levels and their flexibility and all that type of thing correct. So it's, in a sense, I've got that extra time in the middle of the day maybe. Normally I train with my coach in the mornings. So after my morning sessions, I quickly go to my coach, get back, have my lunch, then I head to Joburg in the afternoons for the soccer. But the downfall of that is if I do not work, I don't get paid. So I basically work on commission. So that's the struggle. I don't get a set salary every month, which I can then use for my tours. So it has its pros and cons, as I've mentioned.
It's complicated because on the one hand you're free to do what you want to do. It's your own time, but you need to balance it with needing to earn a living. Where's your dojo? How long have you been a member there?
Our dojo is in Valhalla. It's called Karate School of Champions. I've been a member since I started. My coaches are or my sensei, as they call it in karate. They're like my second set of parents. So they've known me all my life since I started. And they've pretty much groomed me to where I am today. So I'm very grateful for them. But yeah, I love my dojo, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. one of the very few ones who can actually say they've been in the same dojo all their life. And I hope it stays that way.
It's a contact sport. You can't expect not to take a couple of hits. But you've had some interesting ones. So why don't you tell us about your injuries?
Look, we do semi-contact, so the odd shot or two in the face is going to happen if the timing and everything is like perfect, if I can call it that. So my first big one was a broken big toe. I picked my leg up too slow for a front kick and kicked into my brother's knee. He's quite an agile and very fast fighter, so obviously I should have thought a bit more about the action before I took it. But that was in high school. I can't even remember which year. The second big one was a torn pec muscle. So I was doing kata, which is our form division. So you perform different movements in a sequence, but you have to have proper form, you have to have proper stances, power, speed. So there's a lot of factors coming into it. And the one you go down and then you kick with the back leg and then you spin around on the other side of the arm. And as I spun, my arm was too far back. And then it literally just like I could feel it was like someone stabbed me in the heart. And studying human movement science, I knew what the symptoms of a torn muscle is. So like I knew immediately it was torn. I continued and finished the kata, still won, coincidentally versus my sister-in-law. And then I just went to the ground after I went off the floor. And that was quite a long recovery as well. I was in a sling for 6 weeks. Like, the most recent hectic one was not last year, year before, end of the year. Me and my brother were demonstrating something at one of our training sessions, at the JKS training sessions. Pretty much a week before we were meant to fly to Germany for the WKF World Championships. And as we moved, I had to evade and dodge, and he had to just throw punches. And as fate would have it, I guess, his leg came up just like proper timing, everything, as I was ducked into it. So he hit me with the reverse kick, which is with the heel on the nose. Literally open, fractured everything. So luckily there was a nurse on site, so she just literally like grabbed my nose. I nearly died then. It was okay until she grabbed it. And then, we headed straight to Montana Hospital. I went in straight to surgery, came out, took the recovery, and then a week later I had to fight in World Championships.
Sure. Do you have to follow a particular eating plan to stay fit and to stay vital?
Last year I recruited the help of a dietitian because for the past 3-4 years I've been struggling to get my weight under my category's weight. So obviously we have weight categories, so you need to stay below that weight in order to compete. But this year I just decided, you know what, healthy eating is a lifestyle. It's not just a diet for a specific time. You can't compress it into, okay, you have to eat this, you can't eat that, you can't eat this. So I'm trying to just stick to the healthy things. So everything you can basically pluck off the tree or from the ground, vegetables, fruits, and then obviously your meats, white meats especially, to get protein up. But nowadays, because I have soccer in the afternoons and then straight from there I head to training, I normally just make a smoothie with nice fresh fruit, a bit of yogurt, a bit of protein powder, and then I'm ready for training.
Okay. You trained in Japan last year, so would you like to share with us how that opportunity arose? Because you must have had some amazing experiences while you're there. It's completely different to South Africa.
So last year I planned to go to the Korean Open. I think it was scheduled for May or April. And with that MERS virus outbreak, the whole competition was cancelled. So I was stuck with this plane ticket, so I could either lose I think $3,000 or something by cancelling the tickets, or I knew my coaches go every single year. They go to Japan at the end of the year. So I quickly phoned, checked when they're going. Eventually it turned out that I flew the same day as them. So I went the 21st of November.
Nice.
So I went out with them to Japan for training. And it was amazing. We were so tired when we got there after a 15-hour flight to Hong Kong. I was smashed because I had such bad motion sickness. But when I got to Hong Kong, quickly got some motion sickness pills for the next flight. When we got there, we literally took our bags to our accommodation, had a quick shower, and then we headed to the university, Tokyo University. They invited us to go to the university team championships, which is held. It's basically the All Japan University Championships. So from there, we got on a bus, drove for 6 hours on a bus, right? Got there, watched the competition the whole day. They ended up winning 3 of the 4 divisions, which is amazing. The only university to have done that in, I think, the past 3 or 4 years. And then we had the pleasure of celebrating with them afterwards with like a traditional, they call it shaba shaba, which means swing swing. So you get like broth that you cook the meat in, you can put your vegetables in, but everyone sits on the same table and you're enjoying the food, you're snacking as you're having a conversation. As much conversation as we could with the Japanese, because they don't all understand English very well. But that was amazing to be part of that. After that, we went back on the bus, got home, and literally just slept. We got back at like 8 in the morning. So we're like, okay, well, the training's not going to happen today. Let's go sleep. So eventually, after that, the next day, we started our training at the Honbu dojo, which is the head dojo in Japan, and Nakagawa Masawashia. And then, yes, training was amazing. Such small things that just something clicks and then you get it right. And then you realize, oh, I still don't get this right. I need to go train more, or I need to train it this way. So it's not like it's things we've never known. We've probably seen it somewhere, but it just hasn't translated into it. So that's one thing that my coach, Andre Koch, does really well. He can analyze those videos and how the teachers instruct and get info from that on how to bring it over to us and have us do it better. The other thing that was really amazing is that our style head invited me personally to go and train with the Tokyo University team. So I don't think anyone's ever had that pleasure. There's been people invited to watch, but they have never trained with them. So it was an extremely big honor to do that. And I was pretty tired after that. It was a 2-hour session, and the Japanese, they don't just count in like 10 to 20s to 30s like we do. It was literally like 100 of everything. So we did a little warm up, and then we did some drills, and then we went straight into the strength and conditioning section. Wow. Yeah, so we started with like 100 sit-ups, turn around, Superman lift on your stomach, lifting the hands and the feet. Over to push-ups, but with your feet in your friend's hands, basically. So we did about 50 of those, and then you do another 30 where you hold at the bottom and then go up. Hold at the bottom, then go up. After that, you turn up, you get up, 100 squats. Then on the back again, repeat. So they just changed the exercises slightly. So we did 3 rounds of that. So by then I was pretty knackered, but I was still going. I tried just to keep up. Even if I didn't do all of the reps, I just tried to stay with them. But the amazing thing about that is the spirit that they have. They literally just keep going. They keep motivating each other. It's never quiet in them, So it's always this motivation coming from all the team members and counting. Everyone's counting together and going, just pushing hard. And then after that, we went into Kion, which is the basics. So we did that. By that time, I was like shaking, but just kept going, trying to do as the instructor says, keeping the back leg straight, doing this, doing that. And then the last bit, we went into free fighting, where you can train what you want to train with your kumite. So either your favorite techniques, or you can do bag work, things like that. With that section, I actually trained against the under 21 world champion. So that was pretty amazing. She just got that status, I think, 2 months before we were there. So that was really awesome to experience. And then the rest of the training was same, amazing. And then we went into the seminar, which I would have actually missed. I was going to fly back the Friday afternoon, and then our style head invited us to go to Mount Fuji with them. So it was like, okay, either I miss this and I spend the whole day alone, or I can extend my flight ticket and then stay an extra 3 days. So I was like, okay, cool, no, extend, let's go. Luckily, my visa was, I made it, I left on the 15th day. so I've just made it. But yeah, Mount Fuji was amazing. We saw the mountain. You go up like the whole, you get bergpas basically. So you go up this pass. When you got to the top, I think it was -8 degrees, and it wasn't even. It was like halfway up the mountain, not even fully up. So you could see the mountain from there, and then you do like you go through the little shops and they have all their like memorabilia and souvenirs and stuff that they sell there. And then we headed back, and we also visited Asai Sensei's grave. So Asai Sensei was one of the first. It was the first to start JKS karate, so that was pretty special to experience. And then we had the JKS seminar. Again, a lot of learning, especially from Kagawa Shian. He's I think 60 years old, and he can still split flat. He can kick like I don't know, I don't want to call him, but he kicks like insanely well. But yeah, it was a really good learning experience, and we brought that back and started drilling that in even before classes started this year. So we're pretty much on track. We haven't trained a lot of fighting, but that will come naturally because the basics, they form the basis of your fighting. So that translates directly into it.
Wow, that sounds absolutely amazing. What was the most valuable one thing that you brought back from that trip for you, as in your personal capacity? What was the thing that grew you the most on that trip?
I think it humbled me again. Certain things in life bring you right back down to earth. One of those things last year was All African Games. Getting into the finals was amazing, and then I just like sort of crashed and burned, if you can call it that. And then going to Japan and seeing how they train, I thought I was training hard, and then you get to someone else who's at a higher level, doing really well at WKF and like our style, and then you just realize, wow, I'm not nearly there yet. Just need to work so much harder. So I think, yeah, it was very humbling. That's the most important thing, especially in sports. You can never feel, okay, I'm the best, You can never do that. You can never feel like that. Once you do, you're going to get brought back down to earth very quickly.
So this year, 2016, brand new year. What's in store for you this year? What are your goals? What do you want to do this year?
So first thing coming up is our Tshwane championship. So it's basically our regional championships. This is actually this weekend coming.
Okay.
So obviously qualify there. You qualify for Gauteng. Okay, when you go to Gauteng championships, there you qualify to go to nationals, which is then in March. After that, there I want to obviously win my division to get reselected for the UFAC tournament, which is the African tournament. So with that, I'm aiming to get that gold medal because year before last, I came third in UFAC. Last year at the African Games, which is the similar countries competing. I came second, so this year I want to get first. Obviously, that continental title becomes really important when you're heading to Worlds, when you're heading to Olympics, maybe possibly in 2020. Another thing that I've already booked is a trip to Dubai, where the K1 Premier League will take place. So that's first for me, the first time I would compete in one of those. So I've always said I want to, and just never the opportunity wasn't there. Either the money is not there or the time's not there. So this time I just closed my eyes and said, let's book it, let's go. So hopefully that also turns out well. After that, in September, is the JKS World Championships in Scotland. Hopefully I can go to that one. I'd have to maybe choose between that one and the WKF World Championship, is just a month later in Linz, in Austria.
Okay.
So obviously funding is a very, very, I want to say, limiting factor.
It's a challenge.
It is, because I mean it's very expensive. I think the Scotland tour alone would cost us upwards of 20,000, and then similar amount for Austria. So it gets a bit tough. Obviously, young working adult, money is not always there. But I've been very fortunate, especially with my dad helping out and things like that. But yeah, I need to secure some funding and some sponsorships. All
In terms of spend for a year, what would you need to be able to train full time and not have to worry about working? Not
I think if you look at like 20 grand for the year, it would cover most of your national competitions. So basically within South Africa, traveling in and out of South Africa. After that, if you want to do like the K1 Premier Leagues, for example, which with those competitions, you're building up your ranking towards the World Championships. Now, if I look quickly, I can tell you how many there are. So this year alone, there are 10 of those K1 championships all over the world. Right, so first one was Paris, then Egypt, Netherlands, Dubai, Austria, Morocco, Turkey, Brazil, Germany, and then Japan. So obviously those are a lot of competitions, and if you're looking at traveling per competition, it's upwards of 15 grand about per competition. So you have to be very, very selective about which competitions you do if you do not have that funding. So I reckon if you're looking at a number, a ballpark figure, if I can call it that, I think about 200 grand for the year, which would be pretty accurate. You're looking at equipment and traveling to all these competitions, possibly also training seminars, which there are a lot of in the world. Then you're looking at quite a hectic sum.
if you're not going to be involved competitively in karate, what would you like to do with the rest of your life? Is there something that you have in your mind that you would actually enjoy doing, that's your passion, that lights you up over and above karate right at this moment?
One of the big dreams that I've had since before I started actually studying is to combine the basically gym and performance environment with the karate. So we've actually started sort of getting the ball rolling on that topic, if I can call it that, of creating a proper dojo. So at this stage, we're training in a hall. We don't have mats in there and everything, because it's not our property. So I want to get to a place where it's our place, it's our dojo. We can invite other people. We can invite people from overseas to come and do seminars, things like that. And then also get the sports science side of things going with a proper gym in which athletes can come to train. So getting their testing done, getting their training done, and also having the stuff like biokinetics and physio and everything at their disposal, but also at a decent price, because if you go out now, if you have to pay every single person, you're going to spend upwards of, I want to say, 2 grand every 2 weeks just to get those things going. I mean, if I could, I would go to physio every week, but I don't have, luckily my medical aid covers most of it, but you don't have that cash to fork out. So I choose, okay, am I going to the chiro this week or a physio? What am I going to do? So I want to create a place where athletes, as well as the regular human being who wants to start training and improve their lifestyle, can go where they feel comfortable, where they're getting the services that they need, where they can actually improve their lifestyle or improve their performance. So
who's your toughest opponent that you've come up against?
I think I'm my toughest opponent. I'm also my greatest critic, we can call it that. So I'm really tough on myself, even during like training, no matter when. Obviously, you always have to enjoy it, but if you want to be the best, then you have to put that extra in. So I don't think there's one particular competitor that I've faced enough to call, that's my greatest competitor. I keep losing against or keep winning or whatever. It's always a fight against yourself, because you are the only thing that you can control on that floor. I cannot control what someone else does. I can try and get them in a position where it's favorable for me to attack or to defend and counter, but I cannot control what they do. So I think just controlling your own body and knowing what you're capable of, and also having that confidence on that floor. Having the same confidence that you have in your national federation or your national championship versus the world championship. So I think that's the big part where experience also comes in.
And having competed overseas, How does our level of karate, South Africa's level of karate, fare or rank against the rest of the world?
I think over the past few years we've really improved a lot. We don't look like the odd one out anymore. You know, we look the part, and we can actually compete against these individuals.
If there was a message that you could share with young, aspiring karate enthusiasts who are learning it and embracing the culture of karate, what would you share with them, the things that you have learned personally from karate? What has karate done for you as informing your character, your morals, your beliefs, and who you have become today? How has it supported you, the sport?
I think that the main thing is the discipline. I'm a very disciplined person. If I want to achieve something, then I will do everything and anything to get to that. I think that's one of the biggest things that karate has taught me. Obviously, throughout life, you need to respect, obviously, your peers and the different people, and karate instills that into you because of the hierarchical system, you know. Mm-hmm. So, big thing that I would say to anyone starting karate or who has done it for many years is that talent doesn't get you there alone. You know, you have to work hard. Otherwise, anyone or anything can beat you. You know. Another thing that's really important is that you only start doing karate when you get your black belt. Most people just gun for that shodan and they get their shodan. Oh no, okay, now I'm finished. You know, it's 18 odd years that you work for that black belt. So why would you want to give that away? You know, why do you want to stop now? You only start learning then on how to do things really well. You know, you're always aiming to get that perfection. The last thing I think is the most important thing is that it's a lifestyle. I know many people say that, but your sport becomes really a big part of you. And having balance is important. You need to balance work, you need to balance school, you need to balance life, obviously social life and everything. But if you have your priorities straight, then you always get that balance. So yeah, balance is important.
Well, thank you very much. I've really enjoyed my interview. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. I know it's been quite a long interview.
No worries.
But it's exciting to connect with people whose passion for their sport shines through, and it really does with you. It's something that you can see from the way you talk, your expressions. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it, and I know that everybody else who watches your video is going to enjoy hearing what you've got to say about it. And I wish you lots of luck for this year. And
thank you very much.
I'm going to catch up with you later in the year after African champs and see how it all went with you, and we'll do another interview if you have some time for me.
Booyens, thank you very much. Really enjoyed it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.